If I wanted to start my first $3,000 a month side hustle in 2026, this is exactly what I would do. And this is from someone who has been doing side hustles for over 7 years now. I started doing this in university. I've tried over 5 different side hustles. And for the past 4 years, I've been using YouTube automation as my main side hustle to create a life, freedom in time and in location, and living here in Bali and making this my main income. But it was not easy to get to this point. I failed many times. I failed countless different side hustles and I wasted so much time and money in this process. So in this video, I'm going to give you my main 6 tips that you should implement when deciding on which side hustle you're going to do and if this journey is even for you and how to make the best of it and get to that 3K a month level as quickly as you can. But before we dive into that, join my free challenge, the Faceless Tuber Challenge, where in 5 days I teach you how to set up a faceless YouTube channel side hustle business with AI tools. You can click the link in the description. It's completely free, no upsells. So join the community if you want to start this side hustle and also learn about the mindset required to start a side hustle online. So step number 1 is reducing expenses to create more cash flow that you can invest into your business. So when you're starting out and you want the side hustle, you're probably in university or maybe you are just working a 9-to-5 job. You don't have the most expendable income to invest into a side hustle, which probably will require you to put some money in. So it's very important for you to cut expenses. And there's mainly 3 categories: your living cost, your housing cost, and the debt or the insurances you have. So if you are sure about starting an online side hustle, you're going to need money. So the first thing you can save money on that you can invest into your business is by not eating out as much, not buying as many new clothes, especially designer clothes. And also being aware of which groceries you shop and that you shop in bulk for groceries. I know this is not fun and tedious work to do, but if you can save $200-300 a month by reducing your active spending on stuff like this, with $300 a month, you can come a far way in starting your online side hustle. Next up is minimizing your housing cost. You can pay a lot of rent in some parts of the world where you live. And this is exactly also the reason why I moved to Bali after my university years. I was already running an online business that was making me some money, but I was definitely not rich and completely free of these worries yet about having to pay my rent and everything. So what I did, I moved from Amsterdam to Bali. And here in Bali, especially 5-6 years ago, you could easily get shared villas for $300-400 a month. Whereas in Amsterdam, you're easily looking at €1,000 to €1,500 every single month to live in a small apartment. So for me, the move to Bali and the cheap cost of living here was a very big and easy win for me. I reduced my living cost and my groceries and food and everything by more than half by just moving here and living here, building on my business. And this also gets back to that first point I made, your grocery and your cost of living and everything. Here in Indonesia, everything is relatively cheap to Europe and to the US. You can easily eat out and get a meal here for €2-3 per meal, and it is good quality food, and you're on an island, you're always in the sun. Now, I'm not telling everyone that wants to start a side hustle move to another continent and country, because for a lot of you that's maybe not possible if you also work in a job, maybe have a family, and don't have enough savings to actually quit your job and make this move. But you can actively look at reducing your rental income by maybe moving to a smaller place, maybe looking for places where you can live with people together. And again, an extra $200-400 a month that you save on this housing cost, you can then spend on investing in your side hustle. So this is probably the hardest thing for a lot of people to do. And also from what I've seen with coaching over 100 people the last few years that are working a 9-to-5 and trying to start side hustles online, it's very hard to find time next to your job and your daily life and your family life to still work on your side hustle, especially if you have a 9-to-5 job. So with the few hours you have left after work, you have to use them very efficiently and exactly know what you're going to be working on to make the best of these hours and actually get stuff done for your side hustle. The worst thing here you can do is give into easy distractions after work, like scrolling on TikTok or Instagram for hours or watching Netflix movies. I know these things are fun and you need to relax too, but for a lot of people, it's very easy to get sucked into these and easily spend 2, 3, 4 hours every single night on these bad activities. And yeah, you only have so much hours in a day, right? So if you cannot give up on these social media habits or Netflix habits, while you still want to build that side hustle, it's going to be very hard for you to find the time to actually do this. So you got to get your priorities straight in terms of what you really want to do and get out of life. And if that means cutting out your anime, your Netflix, or your social media for a few months or maybe a few years, that is what it takes. So what you're gonna have to do is either before you go to work, you have to wake up early and do like 2-3 hours time blocks of focus work, or after work you're gonna say, okay, from 9 to 5 I'll work, from 6 to 10 or 11, that is like side hustle time. Of course you gotta eat too and maybe spend some time outside, but you can easily block like 2-3 hours to really do focused work towards that goal of building your side hustle. And the different parts of this time blocking we get to later, but what I would highly recommend you doing, and this is also a part of the mindset modules I have in my school community, is you gotta block out these hours, and when these focused hours start, you have to know exactly what you're gonna be working on. So this can mean that, for example, if you're gonna do 5-6 days in a week, in terms of like, let's say the YouTube automation stuff I do, on Monday, for example, you're gonna be ideating your niches and videos. On Tuesday, you're gonna be writing scripts. On Wednesday, you're gonna do the voiceovers. On Thursday and Friday, you're gonna do the video editing. If you know what you're gonna be working on a specific day in a specific time block, it's gonna be so much easier to be in the flow once you sit down, exactly know what to do, and just like push out content and give the inputs that are needed to make something work. All right, number 3 is finding the right side hustle for you. So my biggest mistake when I was starting out was I was just scrolling YouTube and I saw a random Tai Lopez ad about social media marketing, and I bought a $2,000 course and I went through it halfway, and then I started using a part of that course to do something else. Instead of SMMA, I started doing e-commerce dropshipping, or first I started print on demand, and then after that, again, I started e-commerce dropshipping. So my biggest waste of time and money was hopping from model to model for months and even years. And I would never like fully finish one course or program I would do, but I would like pay for something that teaches, in this case, like SMMA. And then because they said something about Facebook ads, I started doing Facebook ads for e-commerce. So yeah, I often blame myself for wasting so much time and money, like years of my life, so to say, by being stubborn and not following in the right direction and not picking the good side hustle that worked best for me at the time. If you got to see how much time and money you have to put into these things. And for example, if you do e-commerce dropshipping, you got to invest a lot into like Shopify website, your products and your ads before you see money, revenue and profit back. Now, if you don't have a lot of money to spend, you should wonder if this is the best model for you to get into. Maybe it's better to do something like social media or an agency where you can produce stuff and get paid for it without having to waste or like invest money in it first. So don't be too quick to buy like the new course, the new shiny object and the new like marketing strategy that people put online all the time. There's so much stuff going on every single like month, like new AI softwares coming out, for example. So really do your research into what works, what has been working for the past few years, and don't just jump on the newest, latest shiny object, but really understand the skills you can learn to make money with. And this is also about section number 4, which is learning through iteration. Again, my biggest mistake was trying all these different things for a few months and then hopping to the next one, hopping to the next one. The problem with this is the skills and the learning curve is always exponential. So when you start something new, you will have to learn all the basic fundamentals of that business before you start like seeing the exponential growth, the money, and you really become a master of that market, so to say. So the issue if you are a course hopper or get on all the new shiny object is that you always stay in that beginning learning phase. You invest in the courses, the programs, the mentors, and you watch the courses, but you have to start building again and again and again, and you have to build your own thing the whole time. The real success comes when you can focus on one thing for like 6 to 12 months at least and give it the inputs and the iterations and try until something works. I also see this with my own business model, YouTube automation, and all the students that achieve success. Usually after 3 to 6 months of trying like 4 or 5 different channels and at least posting 20 videos on each channel, that is when they have that breakthrough channel, that breakthrough video. But if someone only posts one channel, 3 videos, and then starts a new business, of course, that's not gonna work for them, right? That wouldn't make sense. So yeah, focus on that one skill or one business for long enough to give it a fair chance to have it grow for you and make you money. You also want to have this focus, because then on your social media, like on your Twitter, on your Instagram, on your YouTube, you can only follow those people that have done where you want to go with that business model, and follow these people and only learn from them, and not have like spread out attention with all these different business models and information about this and this and this, and it's like overwhelming, right? Usually it's best to just focus on one thing at a time, one coach or mentor program for one business model and one vehicle that you follow until it works for you. Number 5 is investing your money strategically. So there's different ways you can spend your savings and your money that you put away for your side hustle, right? But the 3 main categories is buying AI tools that can help you produce stuff, paying for help to implement that stuff. So buying courses, buying coaching, buying communities from people that done what you want to achieve, basically. And then the third is trial attempts. So actually putting money in the business you're trying to make, testing, failing, and redoing that until you have something that really works. So you want to understand what in your market you really need in terms of tools. So again, for YouTube automation, you need tools to write your scripts, to do AI voiceovers, maybe to make AI images for your thumbnails. You need to know the best tools to get and how much they cost to produce these like assets for your videos, right? You could also say, I delegate everything to freelancers, but then your costs might be 3, 4, 5 times higher than when you get the best AI tools invested in to do things yourself. Now, number 2 is like the courses, the coaching, the communities, everything that's going to help you like get the information from people that have been there before you. So it's crucial for you to know, if you are in a market, who are the course sellers, who are the coaches, who have the communities with people, like-minded people in it, and the information that fits your needs, and where you can verify if they have the results that you want to achieve. So again, was my biggest mistake when I would start. I would follow a lot of people on YouTube, but I would be in all these different business models, and I would buy this course and that course and that course. And sure, these were decent courses very often, but almost anytime I would buy a course, I would go through it and would be like, man, what did I learn in this course that I didn't already know that this other guy also taught me, you know? So I was almost like addicted to spending money on that new shiny object, because these course sellers and these coaches would always give their system a new name. And what I've learned from being in this business is that within a market, if you check the numbers of the coach himself, if he has like successful results, and also his clients have these, like, of course, but a lot of people make programs and just give it a fancy name and acting like they invented a new system, but often they just give this system a new name to sell their own program, even though the information is almost the same as all the other stuff. So what I would recommend is look at the personal success rate of that person, coach, and his students, but also look at the personality of that person and think about, would I want to be someone like him? Because if you're going to get coaching or a course, you're going to be spending a lot of time with that person, right? So you need to know if this person, like on a personal level, also would match your needs in terms of what you want to create for yourself. And then number 3, the trial attempts. Of course, this is the biggest part. Like, for example, with YouTube automation, you need like $400 or $500 a month for 3 to 6 months to test markets, test niches, test videos. If you do not have enough money for this, like, you can try it for 1 or 2 months, and then if you're broke, you have to stop again. So you have to financially prepare. And this goes back to like number 1 of the saving the money stuff. You need to have the money reserves and the low lifestyle, sort of like not overspending on stuff, so that you can invest that money in that side hustle for long enough to see the success you're looking for. Now, step number 7, and the last and one of the most important one, is that you have to be careful for lifestyle inflation. A lot of people, even people that work in a 9 to 5, if they make a certain money, they start spending more on their apartment, on their car, on their lifestyle, on their food, on eating out, on like fancy dinners and more expensive clothes. If you know you want to be in this for the long term, and you want to turn the side hustle into like your main job, you cannot inflate your lifestyle for the coming months or even years to come, unless you know like exactly with what life you are content. And if you make enough, you can like increase it a little bit. But I would really recommend you to, like I said in point 1, keep living on the low for a few months or years until you have enough savings to really not have the headache of like, oh, I still have to pay my rent, I have these insurances, I have to pay this and this and this, or this travel, and I can't if I don't make this much money this month. The worst, like the thing I hated the most when I did my like side hustle journey, was sometimes only having a few $1,000s in my account and being like, okay, if I don't make money with this side hustle within 2 months, like in 3 months I have to get a job again because I'm gonna go broke if I keep living like this? And yeah, if you inflate your lifestyle the moment you start making money, you can get in that situation again. And trust me, sometimes with side hustles like YouTube automation or e-commerce, dropshipping or affiliate marketing or whatever, you can go from 20K months to like 2K months in a heartbeat, because you're usually at the mercy of a platform. So it can be scary if you inflate your lifestyle and you have these like high bills that you need to pay every single month. So yeah, don't inflate your lifestyle. Keep living on the low until you're really consistent for a long time. And maybe you even invested some of the money you make with your main business or side hustle into other stuff that are more like passive income over time. All right, so these are the 6 tips on what I would do if I would restart my side hustle today in 2026. So number 1 is cutting expenses so that you have more investment room in your side hustle. Number 2 is time blocking and saving time to actually work on the side hustle and make it into a success. Number 3 is researching the right side hustle for you that can work for you in your personal situation. Number 4 is learning and iterating and focusing on the right side hustle long enough to give it a chance to work. Number 5, investing in the right AI tools, or like just tools, courses, and mentors, and then also reinvesting in the business to get it going. And then number 6 is avoiding lifestyle inflation so your life doesn't get too expensive and you have room for risk and failure. Now, if you do these things for the coming 6 to 12 months and you actually take action towards your side hustle that you decide on will fit you, there's a very, very likely chance that you will be making $3,000, $4,000, even $5,000 a month from your side hustle, and maybe like me, move to some place like Bali and you can give up your job. Now, if you want to learn a little bit more about how I did this for the past 4 or 5 years, click the link in the description to join my free YouTube automation 5-day challenge. This is the step-by-step tutorial on how I use YouTube automation to make money online. And if you want a little bit more information on what YouTube automation actually is, because you're not familiar with it, you can click the video in screen right here, because here I break down a successful YouTube automation channel that's making over $5,000 a month. So you can see how it looks and maybe if it's something for you. Okay, so click the video here and I'll see you next time.